Hello and welcome back to the Opener Sorcery. It's Devi, and I have my favorite guest, Miss Raven, here with me.
Hello.
I get excited every time she's on. But today
Me
we are
too.
today we're going to be talking about energy cords between people, those connections, and then a very helpful meditation that we were just discussing. So, energy cords, cords between people. What the heck are they? So, as my guest, I would like you to explain what they are first, what your interpretation of them is.
Um, I would say that energy cords are definitely what music is in the spiritual world, I would say, because chords are just like the chords of instruments, connects the different keys, aka different people together. And just like every key makes a different sound, it's the same thing with people. We might have the same chords, but does not mean we have them for the same reason or that they cause the same things to happen in people's lives. It's just that the chords may look the same, but does not mean that they work the exact same.
Yeah, it's almost like the same chord on a different instrument. It's going to sound completely different. So
Yeah.
you're taking chords as in like a musical note. The way that I take chords is almost like this vine, like this rope that is attached from you to another person. And that's the way that I see the chords. So you're seeing it more as like a life path or the actions that you take versus the connections that you have.
Right.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. So, in that, we were talking about a golden cord meditation. So, what would be the purpose of this golden cord meditation?
For my personal experience, it was to meet my soulmate. Um, Man, it would be very awkward if he ever heard this in the future, but Um,
Not necessarily awkward. It's more like, hey, I was working actively to find you, motherfucker. Why didn't you appear sooner? Like, come on, we've got a time frame. Let's go.
very true. um, so for that guided meditation, it was about finding and connecting to your soulmate slash twin flame. Um, and I was definitely able to connect, and it was very interesting. Um, but the problem that I have is that the cord was there and was formed, but I was not able to stay in I was not able to follow the guided meditation all the way through, and I ended up disconnecting from the meditation itself, but the cord is still there, and I ended up feeling its effects when I went to Dollar Tree with my aunt just literally 2 days afterward.
Hmm.
And all of a sudden, as we're approaching Dollar Tree, my heart just started pounding, and I could see the cord kind of straightening out as if it was like a little loose before, but all of a sudden it was super straightened out.
It was taught.
And my heart was just pounding, and I felt as if I was experiencing kind of like a hot flash. And, it might be hard to believe, but I've never had a crush. I've dated guys, but I've never actually had feelings for them in the sense of I was not in love with them. So I've never had that experience of butterflies or your heart racing or anything like that.
Oh,
So
goodness.
this was my first time experiencing that, and it was so surreal, and that was amazing, especially to feel the cord tighten like that. That was a very amazing experience and so surreal.
That's awesome. So, the way that I interpret that, you falling out of the meditation or not being able to continue, typically, whenever during my own practices or like whenever I'm seeing anyone of a more magical nature that cannot complete something, it is either because the guides shut it down or they'd kind of like steer you away from it. Like, you're not supposed to know that yet. Hold on. Because life for psychics, for those that are in tune, for those that know, in a sense. Things have to be left like blank for us in our own lives. I find it like the closer that it is to us, the harder it is to see because our guides are sitting there just covering it, going, "You're not supposed to know yet. Go away. Like, be gone. This is not for you yet." Like, if it's further down the road,
Definitely.
we don't see it as clearly right off the bat anyway. And so it's just like, oh, I have like a vague form of like what's going on. Like there's turmoil out there. There's a breakup or something. Like you have like a feeling about it, but you don't know like the specifics or what it is. But as soon as it comes into a point where like it would be in view, your guides are just like, no, you can't see this. Absolutely not. You're not
Yeah.
allowed, which is frustrating as fuck and kind of want to take a bonky hammer to them sometimes, I swear.
I definitely agree. And I think it's definitely necessary sometimes because I am not able to see his face fully, or at least I don't remember his face fully.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember his light eyes. That's really the main thing that I remember.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but for the gold cord itself, I really found it very interesting because I've never really worked with a gold cord. I've heard of the golden light and such, but I've never personally worked with a gold or even silver cord. I've always heard and worked with the white cord, the one completely made out of light.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I think with this, it because it the cord didn't suddenly appear. It's just my perception just suddenly went to that. Like I
Yes.
just suddenly remembered about it, but it didn't appear out
It
of
wasn't like
nowhere.
you materialized or anything. And that's a thing
Exactly.
with golden or silver or any kind of colored cords that I would like to bring forward. And I have found this out from my own practice. I don't have any like written works that are just like, yes, this is the thing. It's like, no, you have to learn this from experience. Whenever you are concentrating on something, the gold cord is giving you the awareness of it. So you're taking a cord, think of it like you have like 100 like white cords. Cool. Awesome. All of them are default white. How are you to know which one to specifically concentrate on? And so the
Hmm.
golden cord is taking, okay, this is the one that is supposed to connect me to this specific thing. Because you can choose it in terms of, okay, this is connecting me to a certain career. This is connecting me to a person. This is connecting me to a family member. Like, it doesn't matter, right? This is connecting me to an outcome.
Hmm.
So the gold color of it is supposed to solidify with you that connection to it, show you what that connection is, and strengthen it. I know for myself, I haven't really done a golden cord meditation in terms of like a soulmate or a twin flame or anything like that. Um, for me, it was um, the connections that I have to the people that I love, like my children, my friends, those that I cherish, and then every other cord that is to me was black. And then in that meditation, setting myself on fire. So those golden cords were solidified. They were good. They were protected. They were safe. But any extra cord there that was only trying to take from me and not feed me as well, those ones I burned away and I removed from myself. Um, that way, I'm not spreading myself so paper thin. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, and I definitely align with that because the first thought that kind of I manifested
Mm-hmm.
when I was doing the guided meditation and she said gold cord, I immediately thought, "Oh, so something unbreakable."
Mm-hmm.
And something that is so easily identified because of course there are some pieces of jewelry where you have to really go to a professional to see if it's real silver and real gold, but if you can read energies and stuff, you're always able to tell when something's a real crystal and when it's fake. You're always able to tell when something is real metal, when it's real gold, real diamond, etc. So to me, it just means unbreakable, something that is so identifiable. It's as if everything else, like you said, the black, it's as if you're living in a gray world of just black and white, and this one thing of color stands out.
Oh,
Like it's so
absolutely.
easily identified, like you cannot ignore it. So I found it very interesting. I was like, wow, why did I never think of that? My spirit
Yep.
knows about it, obviously, but I
Yes.
didn't know about it.
It's so good. No, it's more of like anything like this, you are brought into awareness more so like you are now breathing and you are inhaling and exhaling and you are aware of it. Like you're doing it automatically
Yeah.
without your awareness being concentrated on it. And so it's just bringing like, oh, it's there. Okay, cool. Um no. And in terms of you seeing your soulmate, I had a very very similar experience. I was doing a cleansing meditation with another one of our friends, and inside of this meditation, like they are literally like taking negative gunk and processing it and like assisting me with it. And I'm literally I'm sitting in my chair doing the meditation, doing the practices with them, and but in my field of vision, like the internal world, I feel something under my head and I look up and there's this face smiling down at me, acting as a filter for me and preventing anybody else's negative energy from coming into me through my head, um, being a protector for me in a sense. So that I understand. If I ever meet this motherfucker, oh my god. But like
I'll be jealous, but I'll allow it.
it's fine. I mean, I'm always yours, waifu. I'm always yours. Um
Mutual.
no, but I have that very similar experience of like seeing them and you're just like, holy shit, wow. What is that? Um and it's
It's definitely
exciting,
like
but it's
that.
also disorienting.
Yeah, because I've seen him so many times throughout my life. Because the first time I saw him was during a past life regression, and the and now I know I can't even go under hypnosis.
Mhm.
I've tried and tried and tried, and even if I do go under, it does not last very long. So this guy, after the third or fourth attempt, I was finally able to go under, and he told me, "Oh, okay, go to this hallway and you will see in this hallway there are doors, however many doors there are. Do not try to count them, just acknowledge that however many doors there are."
Just acknowledge the doors. Don't count the doors. Just acknowledge that they exist.
and and walk down the hallway and go towards the door that you feel most attracted to. And I was like, okay, sweet. So I go into this hallway and I see there's a whole lot of doors. And I started counting and I was like, oh, wait, no, he said not to count. Okay. So I was like, doors, I acknowledge you. And I
I
started
just, I'm
walking
literally
forward.
imagining you at like the front of a hallway going, doors, you exist. Oh my god, yes. I'm dying.
And then I walk a little bit forward and I'm like, okay. And then I see a man standing in the hallway, and first thing I acknowledged was, wow, he's pretty hot, because like he's standing like all manly with his arms crossed and his legs like shoulder width apart and everything, and I was like, ooh, okay,
Oh, you got a
interesting.
bouncer.
And right. And I was just like, oh my god, he's hot. And and he was like, no, you can't be here. And I was like, what do you mean? And I was like, these are my past lives, aren't they? And he's like, no, you're not allowed to be here. And I was like, okay. And then all of a sudden I was just like kicked out. And I came back out of it. And the man, I think it was honestly an excuse, but he said that he had another client. So then I ended up having to leave. But I have seen him again and again after that.
Mhm.
And it's been so surreal. I really was questioning, is this my soulmate, or like what's going on here? Am I just imagining it? And it was funny that I realized my type of guy literally is what he looks like, but I love that I only realized that after the fact of I'm like trying to find a boyfriend. I went on several dates, talked to several different guys and everything, and I was just like, no, I'm just not feeling it. And I was looking for very certain features.
Mhm.
And it was only until later on that I saw him again that I was like, wait, you're my type. That's why.
I mean, I love the self-awareness.
Yeah,
Yes. I love
yeah,
that for
yeah.
you. No. No, I would I would agree with that. And you see, I look for something completely different because I have to be able to meld with somebody on a soul level. Like I could not give a shit what they look like in terms of physicality. But I have to have that complete soul connection where I am safe in entirety.
Right.
And
I totally
otherwise,
get
like
that.
she's a runner, she's a track star. Like she
Yes.
like I'm gone. Um and for me, like looks are secondary or tertiary to that because if I have that, then that is everything to me. Um, but
For
with
me, it's the final decision. Definitely.
yeah, I could see that most definitely. I just I don't know. For me, I know I'm going to be a wrinkly ass old lady eventually. I like pretty is good for a while, but guess what? I'm going to turn into an old bag and you better be able to make me laugh and I need to enjoy my time with you and then deep philosophical conversations kind of shit. Like if we don't have that and intellectually we don't get along and emotionally we don't get along and you're going to sit there and gaslight me, like just fucking move on. Just fucking move on. We're not dealing with it.
Yeah, that's fair. I think it's mostly because I recognize voices and
Mhm.
faces really well. So I feel like that's why I'm remembering the very certain features,
Mhm.
but I do follow my gut.
Oh, absolutely.
Even for friendships, I'll see somebody, even on just on the street, I'm passing by them, and I'm like, we're supposed to be friends. Yeah, I don't know you yet, but we're gonna be friends. Just letting you know.
I love that, honestly. It's like, "Oh, hey, yeah. We're supposed to have a sleepover. I don't know your name yet. What's your name?" Like
And I definitely think the chords are already there because
They
I
are.
know I know for a fact when I'm meant to be with somebody, whether it's a friendship or just help them temporarily, I'm attracted towards that person. And I
Mhm.
just it's a gut feeling that I can't deny even if I wanted to.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I know with those chords, I know there are like for me, um I have tried to remove some significant ones, right? And those fuckers, I swear to God, like you can't remove them. They're not, there are some that you just cannot remove. It is like
Right.
the thickness of one of those redwood trees in California and it's petrified and there is no removal because this soul has been with you through how many lives and like there is no removing it. It's just you're supposed to be partners in some kind of a sense, which is frustrating because it's just like, what about free will? Huh? How about free will? I would like that. And then the universe is just like, no.
Like the universe just clears their throat.
Yeah, what is
Yeah,
that
that
you
was
asked
never
for again?
stated.
Didn't you read the fine print? Like,
No comprende.
no habla inglés. Oh my
That's really
gosh.
how it is. Yeah.
Seriously though. Seriously though.
Yeah.
And then but in the same token, when you actually, and I hate this word, and I have stated that I hate this word, when you surrender to it and you're just like, fuck it. Okay, I'm going with it. And then it's the most beautiful thing that you've ever experienced in your life. And you kind of sit there like a little sour, just kind of like, you motherfucker.
Right.
you, you
Right.
were right, but you're an asshole, but you were right. Um, so there's that. So I'm excited for you in you doing this meditation and then you finding the face of this person for yourself. That excites the heck out of me. Um,
Me too. I
but
felt so giddy afterward and everything. And I still feel the cord. I
that's good.
definitely I feel it. And I'm like, it's just kind of like I've already tried, like talking towards my chest, like the cup string.
Mhm.
I was wondering if that would work. So I was like, "Hey, do you hear me?"
Not so much, not so much. With that one, you're actually going to have to go into like that meditative space and like
Yeah.
think of it almost as you hold on to the cord and then thrum it like a guitar string. Thrum it like
Yeah.
a guitar string and then they kind of thrum back in a sense. So that, oh, those are fun. But in terms of the meditation itself, really the only instruction that you need is find your quiet space and then focus on the cord that goes directly from the center of your being and you feel that it connects to another person. It has nothing to do really with like, oh, it's, um I wouldn't say like it's coming specifically from the heart or it's coming specifically from the third eye or the navel or anything like that. I would say that wherever your center is, like for me, that is the diaphragm. My center is my diaphragm, and that is where mine comes from, although it's like a freaking tree trunk. But it's obnoxious. But with that, you focus on it, and if you are wanting that connection, you light it up. You light it up brightly, and it's just like, come find me. It's almost like a very miniature version, and less outwardly visible than a lighthouse spell.
Right. Mm.
But with that, do you got anything else to add to them damn chords?
um, I suppose we can talk about the different colors and textures because I can't really see the chords that are on myself,
Mm-hmm.
as everything. Takes me a while just to see my own aura sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But I can see everybody else's just fine. Um, I have seen chords attached to people's auras,
Okay.
which has always been something very interesting to me. That whenever I've seen a cord attached to the actual aura, and I've seen some chords have chips in them, I've seen chords have a kind of zigzag as if it was folded up and
Mm-hmm.
then extended again.
Okay.
And then I've also seen chords in different colors as well. I've even seen chords for the people that are very spiritual and work with their spirit guides or ancestors. I've seen those chords
Mhm.
on certain areas of their aura that would align with possibly a chakra or something else that they associate like with that deity or with that spirit guide, and it's always a very certain color as well. Those are the ones I've usually seen as like a very deep violet for the spirit guides and
Mhm.
the ancestors. I've always seen it as a very deep violet color of the chords.
Pulling back to ancestry, and it's almost like once you become an ancestor, you become almost like a member of nobility in a sense. Um, in my mind anyway. So yes, I could definitely see that and feeding into the third eye chakra and all of that with the violet color. Now, the texture of the chords, I will add. I have seen frayed chords. Ones that are so broken like they are like 2 seconds away from breaking. Like they are almost gone. I've seen that in so many situations of relationships where the chords are just there is no repairing this. You cannot fix it. You can just let them go and let them actually heal. People don't like to hear that though. They really don't like to hear
Yeah.
that.
Oh, I can believe that. I I don't know if there might be some listeners that don't know this, but I am a moderator in a Facebook group, and we do different tarot readings, palmistry, mediumship, etc. Pretty much any and every practice that you can think of, because a lot of people, of course, all over the world join the group, and all the time, if I had a dollar, not even if I had a penny for how many times I see people ask about a spell for their to get their ex back or to reconnect with someone that from their past or to get their husband or wife back to rekindle old past love. I would be rich beyond belief. I would be past a trillionaire at this point.
Oh, 100%.
So many, so many. And it's not just girls either, it is guys as well
Hmm.
that I've seen, both of them, always past an ex lovers every time.
Oh, absolutely. And that part always trips me out. Now that might just be because I am a very finite person. When I am done, I am done. There is no other chances, there is no other opportunities. There is just nothing. You become nothing to me at that point. So maybe that's just my own mentality feeding into it and just people not being able to accept the finiteness of that relationship and accept the ending of it trips me the hell out. Um, but that has always every time I have seen anything like that or somebody has requested that kind of shit of me, I've been so pissed off every time. I get so
I
mad.
don't blame you. I also I don't necessarily get angry, but I definitely do one of those every time.
Hmm.
Because and there's been so many times where it's you're coming to me about wanting to rekindle this fire, yet you're the one that keeps putting it out
Hmm.
as well. I get those a lot.
Oh,
A
absolutely.
lot.
Or they'll be the one that cheated, or they'll be the one that strayed. And it's
Exactly.
just like,
Every time.
guess what happens when you do not honor another person? They will start to honor themselves and they no longer need you to do so. That is just the way of life, right? People will figure it
Mm-hmm.
out. So stop it. Go get some help.
And
Like,
I want to say one thing as well for listeners. If you really want to maintain a cord and connection with somebody, that's totally fine, but that's your choice. And don't demand change. Even if you believe the way that you want them to change is for their betterment, in the end, you are being selfish in a sense because you want them to change so that you can be with them and so that you'll be happy. they have to choose to change, and they have to be the one to choose for themselves to change, because that is really when it's going to actually be change. Otherwise, it's only going to be temporary. And at that point, that's also not healthy for them, because then they're just putting on a mask specifically for you. Maybe
Mhm.
that makes you happy, but that will definitely not make them happy, and it will not last very long. Once you disconnect from someone and chip that cord, just move on. Just move on. It's better for you both. I'm telling you. Don't say I want you back but with stipulations. That's not how it works. If you left a job and your employer came back saying we would love to take you back, but here are some conditions, you probably wouldn't want to take that job unless you were desperate.
And nobody needs to make decisions out of desperation. Absolutely not. Like, yes, we need love to exist as people. It helps our humanity and it makes us happier overall. But it is not a, you know, food, drink, air, shelter necessity. Like, I'd rather be alone than deal with some shit.
Exactly. Imagine the chords as strings. They are emotionless. Of course, there are different meanings and such and purposes to those chords, but the chords do not have emotions. You can tell the chord, I hate you, and the chord is literally just going to shrug or just not react at all, because imagine as a piece of yarn, it cannot respond to you. If you want to disconnect it, then you disconnect it. If you don't, then don't.
Mm-hmm. There's only some of them that I have experienced that will not disconnect. And that is rare, exceedingly rare. So just be careful. Treat people with
I
kindness,
agree.
especially those that you presumably love. Treat them with kindness.
I agree.
All right. I think I'm pretty much spent. What about you?
I believe I am done. Yeah.
All right.
Otherwise, I'll talk for hours,
I mean,
especially if you give me drinks.
you can
Yeah.
come on over. We'll get some drinks. It'll be great.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you guys for listening. This is Devi on the Open Resorcery and the lovely Raven.
I am Raven, and you are amazing. Lovely to meet you.
And we will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.